Hi, this video is about wrapping your toes. Why do you want to wrap your toes, right? So if you have lymphedema in your foot, leg, or entire lower extremity from the hip down, if you're experiencing things like COVID toe, where your toes are like not a healthy color and a normal skin color, those are all good reasons to wrap your toes. So let's get started. The first thing I do is I take about a 2-inch roll. Now, if you have really long toes, you might want to use a 3-inch roll of gauze, and I fold it in half, rolling it up. Why? Because there's little holes in gauze. And, you may have a gauze that doesn't have little holes, but the majority of gauzes that I have used and been exposed to have little holes in them. And when you fold them over, it keeps your skin from swelling up through those little holes. So you just take a minute and roll that up. Now, the other thing you want to do is make sure that your foot is clean. Be sure that you have washed in between your toes and on the bottom of your toes. And you've checked them for any wounds, because if you're diabetic, you definitely want to check for wounds. And you also want to make sure they are very dry and then moisturized with a good cream. So a low pH lotion is what I recommend. And then we're going to get our foot up here. Now, I realize that some people can't get their foot up here, so somebody else will have to wrap your foot for you. So you can also put your foot like this. That's not going to show as well on the camera, so I'm doing mine like this. So I like to hold the wrap so that what's coming off of it is at the bottom. When you do it like this, you have less of a handle. So I like to do it like this because it gives me something to hold on to. I'm less likely to drop the roll. So I follow a pattern. I go around my foot 1, 2, 3 times. And I don't pile them all up in one place. Why? Because that's going to put a lot of pressure when I put a shoe on. And so I want to spread that out. Then I'm going to bring the wrap up and around my big toe. And I'm going to bring it down. And so it's going to go around that toe about 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now again, I have long toes. So if you have more short nubbin toes, then you might only be able to go around twice, and that is okay. And I've had a few people with really short toes that have only gone around once, but that's not very common either. So bring it out to the end of the second toe, go around, bring it around the bottom. So this is going to be a 3-loop toe, because you want to get those toes covered clear to the base. You don't want to leave skin showing, because wherever skin is showing, fluid follows the path of least resistance. So if I have openings in that gauze, that is exactly where that fluid's going to go. And then you can create some issues there. So I'm going to wrap that around this toe. Now, if you're somebody who has foot fungus or a lot of itching on their feet, I highly recommend you get tea tree oil and put that tea tree oil on your skin prior to wrapping, because it inhibits moldy and fungus growth. And it will help keep that itching from getting out of control. So this toe is a little shorter than the other toes, so I'm just going to go around it twice. And again, I'm spreading it out through my foot. I don't want a big ridge of wrap where I put my shoe on and it's and the wrap starts poking into my foot, or I have this big ridge underneath. I want to spread it out. And my little toe's short, so I'm just going to go around my little guy one time, my little gal. Then I just run the rest of the wrap out of my foot. So when you finish, this should be quite flat. You should not see skin except for right underneath here, because that's where you're going to put a lot of weight on your foot when you start walking. So you want that open, because you're going to be putting pressure there. So you don't really need it wrapped, because just walking is going to keep that from swelling. But you do want all the skin covered in here, so that you make sure that you're not pushing the fluid somewhere where you don't want it, or you get a little puff. I'm Mary Thomas, physical therapist, developer of the Body Power System, and I would love to help you.